I grew up below the poverty line. My parents were lucky enough, though, to get into government housing, which is kind of like the projects in the US, and we were able to, because of that, get me into a better school, and I was able to get better education, which I was so blessed for that. But the downside to that was that I was going to school where like some people had better situations, living situations than me, and I grew up kind of bullied because of that and wanting to fit in and always kind of wanting to pretend I wasn't like the poor kid at school. And because of that, I think I was always like, had this ambition to like want to achieve success and this ambition to work. And I started working as soon as I was able to. I started at a movie theater, and I then went to a bar, and I worked in a lab, a hospital, like all these places. And I put myself through university. I'm kind of a people pleaser, and I really wanted to make my parents proud. So I was mainly only doing that because they said the only way for me to ever make it in life was either to be a doctor or a lawyer. But I was a little unhappy because I wasn't following my dreams. I was following the dreams of my parents. When I was taking a year off from going into med school before my MCATs, I started making cosplay. I would spend like a month sometimes on one costume, and they were like these detailed, intricate, armored pieces, and I would use this material called Warbla it's like a thermogenic plastic. You would heat it up, and then you could mold it into like any shape you wanted. It'd be light. So I could like show off these crazy characters. I started getting recognized and flown all around the world because of these cosplays and because of something that was like all passion-based. Through that, a lot of people were like, you should do YouTube, da da da. And I was like, okay, sure.
You created this world, Azzyland.
Yes.
Your real name is Azra. People know you as Azzy. Can you talk about how you created that vision for this world or this content that has engaged millions and millions of people over the years?
Of course. So Azzy was my nickname growing up. So I went with that online, but mainly for like kind of to protect my family for privacy, which also because my friends actually did call me Azzy, so I did feel connected to that. And then Azzyland was this place in my mind that I had created because video games for me and art were always an escape from when I felt like I was being bullied. I would lose myself, I would forget about my real world problems. So I kind of wanted to create this world where other people who maybe were dealing with hard things at home or at school, or maybe they didn't fit in, a place where like everyone is welcome.
If this content is a way to be an escape or a way to really, have this convening power for this audience, how though do you think about the creative process? Walk me through sort of a day in your life as it relates to building out such a huge body of content over the years.
The first thing that happens is I need to come up with the content and the idea and the thumbnail. So I think an advantage that I have is I am very I consider myself to be a very empathetic person, and because I have a tight bond with my fans, I'm able to, I guess, somewhat predict what they're going to enjoy, predict what they're going to want to click on, and that helps me decide on that. And that from there, with idea, I find all the material I want to use in the videos. And every video is different. Like sometimes we do reaction content, sometimes we do IRLs, and that's the beauty of it. Like I can fully be creative and just do whatever I want at any time. And then after that, it goes through an editing process. And then we double check it, and usually I will re-edit it like 10 times myself. And then the thumbnail, I'll make a bunch of thumbnails and we'll A/B test the thumbnails, so see which one works better. And then the content goes up, and it's up forever.
What advice would you give to others in terms of what it takes to produce content at scale, but also what it takes to really invest and understand what your audience wants, or what, as you said, to predict what your audience may want?
Yes. So another thing that I have to my advantage that I think helped me become as big as I am is that I do have a Bachelor of Science. So I'm able to look at my content in a very analytical point. I'm able to look at the graphs, and you can see where the videos drop off, and you can be like, why did people leave there? What caused them to leave? And you can see like maybe it was like something, maybe I went on too big of a tangent and I lost people. Maybe there was like a blank screen for a bit, and it just visually didn't catch people, and it was a way to exit. Or maybe the flow and the rhythm dropped off. So I'm able to study that and figure out why, like I guess scientifically, why people might leave. And at the end of the day, there's like two things that make a video go viral, and that's AVD, which is the average view duration, and click-through rate, which is the percentage of people who click on your video. If you can have both those numbers high, then that's almost guarantees a viral video, mathematically. And I don't know, this again, the algorithm is a breathing, living organism pretty much. It will change every day. By the time you watch this, who knows, I might have changed, but at the moment, that's how I think it works.
So much of the business of YouTube is working with partners or creating different collaborations. What advice do you have for others around how you choose and think about collaborations based on the experiences you've had?
With brand deals, I am very picky. I'm sure it annoys my agent. He actually tells me like you need to stop being so picky. You're like, you take the least amount of brand deals out of all my clients. But I believe that I have to do that because my fans love me, they trust me, and I don't want to sell them something that I don't believe in myself. And that's taking advantage of their trust and their love. And especially some of them are younger than me, it's an advantage of power dynamic. So that is why I always say yes to about 1% of brand deals. Like, no amount of money is worth like your integrity.
What's been the biggest lesson you've learned around creating a business through YouTube?
I started off on an iPhone, again, one of those like old iPhones that suck. And you can see that my first video looks terrible. I look terrible because the lighting's terrible. I'm using the lighting from my monitor. So my point though is none of that matters. If you just gotta be consistent, your fans have to see you're passionate, because I never thought I could make money off of this. This was a passion hobby, and I think that shows. And don't let these little things hold you back. Just start. That's the most important thing. Start, be consistent, work hard. I believe that anybody can achieve anything they want as long as they want it hard enough.